In the third installment of the Captain America films, the government has decided that the Avengers have done way too much damage in their fights, resulting in the deaths of many people. So they say that the Avengers will work exclusively for the United Nations, doing things only when they are told to by them. Tony Stark is in favor of this, and Steve Rogers is not. Sides are chosen, new characters emerge, and all of this is happening at the same time Steve is trying to rescue his childhood friend Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. The Russo brothers once again show their complete competence as directors. The characters are very well developed, the fights are impressive, and the story is captivating. These two men have now made two of my all-time favorite MCU films, and I'm eagerly awaiting to see what they will do with the next two Avenger films. At a time when I am admittedly beginning to get a little bored with comic book films, the Russo brothers present one which tackles a theme I rarely see be addressed well, that being if the superheroes are doing more damage than helping people. You understand everyone's viewpoints perfectly, and it doesn't come off as too pretentious or too philosophical. It's presented like real people talking. You understand Tony Stark and all the guilt he feels, and you understand Steve Rogers' dilemma with siding with the government after all he's been through. It's a film where there's not really a right or wrong answer. Everyone makes valid points, and you're bound to flip-flop on whose side you're on. I was really concerned with the amount of characters that were going to appear in this film. Gradually, more and more keep coming into these movies, and they always run the risk of not giving each character enough screen time. But, to my pleasant surprise, they are all well developed and they all have a lot of moments to shine. I was also very grateful we quickly got Black Panther's origin story out of the way, so when we get to his film, we don't have to focus the whole movie on it. Speaking of Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman nailed this character. I like that this was a character who was more serious than the other Avenger characters. Not only does he have a lot of great action scenes, and not only is he played by a very talented actor, but this character does go through an arc in this movie. I won't spoil what it is, but it's a good one. It's not new, but the arc itself is done very well, and Boseman's portrayal really sells what his character goes through. Now, let's briefly talk about Spider-Man. I don't want to say too much about him, but Tom Holland also pulled off this character really well. I think it's still too early to say he is the best of the live-action portrayals, but good God is this kid excellent in this role. Holland plays him like an actual kid, a kid who is extremely inexperienced in his role as a hero. And since he's a kid, he acts like one in front of the heroes. He talks too much in front of them, he apologizes, and he tries to impress them. So I liked him a lot. I will warn, however, he is not in it a whole lot, as he shouldn't be, as this movie is not about him. He is in it just enough. While I do love this movie, that does not at all mean that it is perfect. For starters, I think that the first half of the movie is very slow. I understand that you need to set up the political plot and everyone's sides, but I think you could have made it go a little bit faster. Also, the very first fight scene I thought was awfully shot. This might have been one of their weakest fight scenes ever. The camera is moving all over the place, and a lot of it is shot in close-ups. When medium shots are used, the camera is shaking pretty violently. The other fight scenes in the film are done really well, notably the airport battle, but the fight between Captain America and Crossbones is dreadful. The last criticism is that the villain of the film, Zemo, is not that strong. This is a constant problem with the MCU films, where the heroes are done really well, but the villains are not that interesting. That being said, Zemo is not at all the weakest villain of the MCU. I think he's somewhere in the middle. His backstory is interesting and seems very logical, but while the backstory is interesting, he's not really. I don't even think he's really needed in this story for that matter. The whole film could be rewritten to take him out, and the story would basically be the same. I don't hate this character, in fact I really like the actor, but I think this is yet another mediocre Marvel villain. I do want to end on a more positive aspect of the film, and that is the performance of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Yeah, I'm ending a Captain America review on Iron Man. This may be the best Tony Stark performance that Robert Downey Jr. has ever delivered. I know it's not typical jokey Tony Stark, but the performance is so dramatic and so emotional that it reminded me of how much of an acting legend this guy truly is. This is the man from Chaplin, Zodiac, and more, and for many years I've just associated him with sarcastic clown Iron Man. Here, he has so many great moments, and a lot of the time, It's delivered as if he's playing the character in a different film, which he kind of is since the tone of this one is so different than the others. I've never felt so much for this character before, and I'd honestly say he alone is worth seeing the film. So if you couldn't tell, I really do love this movie. I have enjoyed the Russo brothers' style, and I have loved how they have humanized these characters even more. I love the conflicts that they all go through, I love the acting from all of them, as well as the action, and above all else, I enjoyed the story that was told. For me, this is my Avengers 2. Age of Ultron was not bad, but it was still pretty weak compared to everything else. This makes up for Ultron more than enough. If you have enjoyed these movies, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. And if you are into any of the things I've listed, this is probably a film that you should most definitely check out. Thanks, this is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M, signing out.